Hey, gang, we got a new partner we're excited to tell you about that's doing something really unique in the game. As you know, we spend a lot of money, thousands of dollars a year, for our kids to play the game that they love. But what's the game plan when something goes wrong and they get injured or something ends your season prematurely? You might get shortchanged financially when it comes to those registration fees that you've already paid. So, to help protect your team registration fees, Get Palmy has created the Season Saver, which gives you peace of mind insurance. With Season Saver, parents like you can recoup unused team registration fees if any injury or illness keeps your kid off the ice. That's not something I've ever seen offered before. It covers players up to the age of 26, so don't worry, y'all fit into that category, and can pay up to $25,000. Their Season Saver plan really can come in handy since most of the teams don't have a refund policy. It only takes about 3 minutes to sign up, and they insure multiple sports. Check it out at getpalmy.com/OKPH. Again, that's GETPOMI.com/OKPH to check out the plans for Season Saver today. It's a really great idea, and we wanted to share it with this audience, which we care about so much. Thanks for taking a listen to that. We hope you check them out and enjoy this episode of Our Kids Play Hockey. Hello, hockey skaters and goalies around the world. Welcome back to another edition of the Ride to the Rink. We got 4 people on the show today. Me, Lee Elias, Kevin Shier of Top Sports. He's going to talk to you in a minute. He played NCAA hockey. He's well qualified to talk about what we're talking about. Mike Benelli is here, and also Christy Burns. And we're going to start this show by going back in time, 20 years to the day. Christy's young son, who was 4 years old at the time, Christy, had a question in a letter that he was writing to a teacher. So I'm going to hand it off to you, Christy Burns, with Back in the Past.
Yeah. Well, I found his old journal. He was I think he might have been 7 years old when he wrote this. So he's writing to his teacher because every day they would write questions or notes to their teacher. They would keep a journal. So cute. And I found this page. I didn't even know that he went through this, but he said, "Dear Mrs. Franco," this is his teacher, "I'm in a mess because I want to try out for basketball, but then I'll miss hockey practice. And I don't want to do that. But I do want to be on the basketball team. I don't know what to do. Do you have any suggestions?" Here he is in 3rd grade, conflicted about playing sports. Kevin, what kind of advice would you give to kids who might feel just like that today?
It's a great question. I love the fact that he wants to play more than just hockey. I mean, I think that in itself is amazing for a grade 3 or grade 4 to have this self-awareness to want to play other sports. I think a lot of it comes back, or what I would say to him as a 7 or 8-year-old is to try to talk to his teacher or coach about this. I mean, there's multiple ways around this type of thing. It's a common problem, I think, that parents and kids are faced with picking one over the other. I think that's part of the challenge that we're trying to address at Top. But as far as your son's concerned, and 20 years ago, what I would have said to him is try to have a conversation with your hockey coach and see if maybe there's a way to go to one of the 2 tryouts or a portion of the tryouts, or express to him or her how much you want to play that team. I think a child's desire to do something and their passion is a very powerful persuasion tool that they can use to talk to an adult. And I think, considering we're talking about a grade 4 student, my hope would be that the hockey coach would see that they are really interested in something else and use that as a motivator as opposed to a detractor. And, I think a lot of life lessons can come from having to talk to adults about these things, especially at 7 or 8 years old, and that might be daunting. So having the confidence to talk to your hockey coach or teacher about this would be an amazing life lesson. And I think just illustrating your passion and drive to do something that's more than just hockey, I think would be an amazing place to start.
Kevin, we're going to take that answer. We're going to bucket it up. We're going to put it in our time machine, send it back to 2004. Right? It was different time period, as we all know now. It's weird to think about it like that.
But those same problems exist.
Yeah.
Kids' feelings, our kids' feelings.
Kevin, here's what we're going to do. I'm going to ask you 2 questions, and each one of these is going to go to some of you listening today, right? So for the kids listening today, you're most likely either A, playing multiple sports. A lot of kids play a lot of different sports, or you may be a kid who only plays ice hockey, okay? So let's talk to the kids out there listening who play multiple sports, right? It can be a lot of pressure. It can be a lot of jumping from one sport to another sport to another sport. What's your message to them? What do they need to keep in mind and prioritize when they're jumping from sport to sport to sport? Because it is a good thing that you're playing multiple sports, but what should they keep in mind to keep a straight head?
For sure. Again, great question. I think I'll start by saying it's amazing that they are playing multiple sports. I think it's, as you said, Lee, earlier, every research paper in the world suggests that multi-sport participation is better for long-term development. Now, what I would say to a kid is make sure you love it. Don't do it because someone else wants you to do it. Don't do it because you think it's the right thing to do. Do it because you love doing it. You should wake up every morning excited to go play that sport and try your best and work hard and be a good teammate and listen to your coaches. Everything else does not matter. If you love it, you enjoy it, stick with it, listen to your coaches because they know what they're doing, listen to your parents because they know what they're doing, and enjoy and have fun with what you're doing. It's over a lot sooner than you'll think. And when you look back on it, the only thing that matters is that you had fun doing it.
I love that. And it's definitely something we all have to keep in mind, that if you're not having fun, if you're not having fun with something, say something. You can't be worried about people being upset with you. You have every right to tell somebody this, I'm not enjoying this. I don't mean one practice or one game. I'm talking over a lot of time. You really don't want to do it. Now, with that said, let's turn now to the young kids listening who only play hockey. Some of it might be because they just love hockey and they want to play hockey. Some of it might just be because that's the family situation. You mentioned it. How important is it for them to look into playing multiple sports?
I sometimes use the analogy with parents of, if you put your kid in school, you're not only going to put them in math class because you want them to be an amazing person at math in grade 3. In the same fashion, you shouldn't just put them in hockey because you want them to be an amazing hockey player in grade 3. There has to be a fundamental base of athleticism, of physical literacy, of core skills before you start to specialize. So the way I would frame that to a kid is by asking why they play one sport. If the answer is because they just love playing hockey, well, I think you probably play more sports in gym class or more sports at recess. And so if you do play those other sports at recess or gym class, well, why do you like those sports? Is it the social piece? Is it because it's not competitive? And oftentimes kids may feel like they have to play one sport because they're getting external pressure from parents or siblings or other kids in the playground. And they may actually love playing badminton or volleyball or whatever, but for different reasons. And I think understanding why kids play different sports and the motivation there, that would be the first question I ask to a kid. And then what I would say directly to the kid is, picture yourself in 10 years. Do you want to be someone who's really, really good at one thing, but might not be playing that one thing? Or do you want to be really, really, really good at a bunch of different things and probably playing all of those things in 10 years? And I think framing it a little bit more softly for a kid like that might get them to, have that light bulb moment of maybe it's actually better if I play different things and continue with it than just playing one thing.
And Kevin, I'll tag on to that, that I agree with you 100% on all other sports. I also think it's important to have other interests like music and writing and maybe theater or whatever it is that you like to do. I think it's important to be well-rounded in sport and out of sport, which I know you agree with as well. I want to end this show by throwing it to Mike Benelli. I just realized that we have an opportunity here to ask Mike if he could talk to himself in 1980, which again, kids, is the late 1900s. I want to know, Mike, what would you say to young Mike Bonelli in the year 1980?
Oh, he's thinking about this one.
I would say, just take the opportunity to have all of the technology we have today and all of the access we have to information today, from nutrition to training to the actual science of development. I didn't have that. I don't think any of us in that era didn't have that. And these kids have such a great opportunity to use all of that information and come up with a better path for their mental health, their physical health, and just really advancing in the game, whatever the game that might be, but just advancing in life. And if you can take all of this great information we have now and use it in a positive way and not get FOMO, not worry about what everybody else is doing, but take this information for yourself and then use it to your advantage. That's the advice I would give. Get this information, use it for you. And in turn, it's going to help the teams that you're on, the coaches you play for, and the other athletes you interact with.
See, I would have told myself to buy Apple stock, and then I could afford everything that I ever wanted to do. But that no, Mike, joking aside, that's actually a really, really good answer. And I think that, one of the cool things, kids, if you're listening to this, is that we're trying to give you some of that advice that maybe we didn't get when we were your age. And I always think it's important to, listen to your elders, for lack of a better term. Sometimes we have good ideas. And if you're listening to this show, I think you are one of those kids. So that's going to do it for this edition of the Ride to the Rink. We got a lot of great stuff here today. Kevin Shier, thanks for being on with us. Christy Casciano, it's Mike Benelli, myself, Lee Elias, all together with you. Kids, listen, if you have a question, wherever you're listening to this episode, there's a link in the show notes. Ask your parents if you can use their phone or use your own phone. Tap it. You can text us a question, a thought, a comment, and we will be happy to discuss it here on the Ride to the Rink. But that's going to do it for this episode. Remember, enjoy your sports, enjoy your hockey, enjoy your day. And remember, we believe in you. You should too. Skate on. We'll see you on the next Ride to the Rink.